Yeah. We back once again. It's your boy Ace and Logic, and we finna bring you this information though. So as you can see, people, if you look, you got Ace chat up right now, and we'll be simultaneously switching from my chat to Ace chat. And then so now, if you haven't done so already, go subscribe to my man Ace Corner Talk right now, and then get in the chat room and start talking it up, man. Let's talk it up because he gonna have some different point of views, and I'm gonna have some different point of views. So take 1 second right now, and all the people over here, go over to Ace Corner Talk chat and just say what's up, and let's do a test to make sure everything going good. I see we got Queen C in the building. We got shots fired. You know what I'm saying? Get in Ace Corner Talk chat right now. Let's boost it up. So now we're gonna talk about this. You know what I'm saying? First, I'm gonna let my man Ace introduce himself and do what he do. Go ahead, Ace. The mic is yours, brother.
What's up, everybody? This is Ace from Ace Corner Talk. Peace. Hope all is well. I'm excited about this dual live stream. It feels pretty decent. Everything looks good. The graphics, everything in the background, all that is decent. So, just glad everybody's in the mix. Let's just do it. What's up to my wife, Queen C? Shots fired. All of y'all in the building. Peace.
Oh, hold on. Wait. They said they cannot hear. Hold on 1 minute. Hold up. You can't hear? All right, hold
They
up.
said they can't hear you. They can hear me though.
Oh man, they can't hear me. God dang it, I hate doing this, man. All right, let's see. How can you get me in there? We still going through some growing pains with this, people. You know what I'm saying? We trying to do these dual streams on both live streams. So apparently everybody can hear me inside of here, but
Okay, he said he can hear in both chats loud and clear. What's up, George Garcia's? Peace to you, family. He said
okay.
they said they can
Hey,
hear both of us.
oh, they can hear now?
Yeah, that's what he said.
All right, we good. Now let's get on this topic, man.
John Doe.
So let's get into this topic. So we're gonna bang on this topic for a minute, and then this is something that you can see though. If you look in the background, you see the chickens and you see the mules and you see the cows, and then what we really want to talk about is the 40 acres in a mule mentality. So now we all know that, you know what I'm saying, after after the war back, and I think it was like 1865, General Sherman actually promised, you know what I'm saying, all the black slaves that he would actually, you know what I'm saying, he made a promise, and it was made a promise from the United States government that, you know what I'm saying, that all black people that was enslaved will receive 40 acres in a mule. And then so now, I can't do the math, but 1865 and now it's 2017, and we've got to realize that, you know what, we haven't received our 40 acres in a mule yet. So now, is it logical for us to believe that we will receive 40 acres in a mule? And now, by understanding that, do we have this 40 acres in a mule mentality? So now, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give my thoughts on that. And you know, a lot of times a lot of people won't really like my thoughts though. But you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna open up into to Ace to figure out what he think about, you know what I'm saying, the promise that was made by the United States government. And you know what I'm saying, should black people at this point still want them 40 acres in the mule, or we still have that same kind of mentality?
So check it. This is my point of view. This is what I think. Okay, if the Indians are promised um, some brutalities, or how would you call it, if they're promised a certain part of a claim that since they were here first, they're getting a piece of the pie. So my thing is, why wouldn't those who was enslaved and built this country from ground up, why couldn't we get a piece of it also? Not saying that we begging or using it for a crutch not to do anything, but if the Indians could receive, why couldn't we?
Mm. And that's a good point though. You know what I'm saying? Because the Indians actually, you know what I'm saying, they received theirs. And then we looking at it now that we haven't received nothing. So, I mean, that's a good point brought up by Ace, but uh, just doing a rough estimate, it's been over 500 years. So now, after 500 years, after being made that promise, is it still logical for us to still wait on this 40 acres and a mule, or we have this mentality, or should we push forward and say, you know what, fuck the 40 acres and a mule, excuse my language, people, and let's try to look to obtain something ourselves instead of actually waiting on them to give it to us. And I think that's my big point. I think that, you know what, they gave it to the Indians, yeah. You know, the Germans got what, you know what I'm saying, they got. But is it logical for us to sit back and wait for these 40 acres and a mule? Because now my thoughts about it now, if we was to get the 40 acres and a mule, I mean, would people even do something positive with the 40 acres and a mule?
I think whatever's given to us at this particular time, we probably would do what's best versus how we used to think and how we used to be. I mean, now the sky's the limit. Once an individual gets on, you know, not everybody's thinking about Jordans and Versace. You know, some people thinking about opening businesses. So if we did have that opportunity to have that 40 acres in the mule, we'll probably be more acceptable to 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 opening up some businesses or doing something more productive.
Mm, I think so. And so I mean it's deeply, you know what I'm saying? It's deep, it's my opinion really that the thing about it is that it would be nice to have the 40 acres and a mule. You know what I'm saying? I think probably a majority of us will do something positive with them 40 acres and a mule. But I think they got to change that concept because hell, I don't want a mule no more. So now you better give me 40 acres and some cash. I don't want a mule. I want some cash. I want 40 acres and some cash. And I think the concept back then, the mule, it actually represented cash. So it actually represented how they can actually start back up. You know what I'm saying? Coming from nothing to something. So it was there. But I'm still in total agreement that right now in 2017, that if we still talk about the 40 acres and a mule, if we still talking about receiving something from an organization that already pretty much told us that we're not gonna get it. It's just like that friend you got that owe you $20. And then it's been a year and he still owe you $20. You know what I'm saying? Is it logical for you to think that at one point in time he will give you your $20? Initially, you know what I'm saying, logically, you would just forget it. You will wrap it up, you'll call, you know what I'm saying, you would almost say, hey, look, you know what? I'm gonna charge that to the game. But in the same perspective, you'll know that you know what I'm saying, your dealings with that individual would change. And I think in this scenario, our dealings with the government as a whole should change because you know what I'm saying, they promised us something, we didn't get it. So now, you know what I'm saying, we should just say, hey, you know what, fuck it. I don't want the 40 acres and a mule. But I'm pushing forward with my mentality to say that, you know what, I will question everything that you actually say you give me, or everything that you say that I'm owed. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you don't owe me shit anymore. So now by me thinking that way, I think we can progress as a whole.
Well, I think that if we look at it from this perspective, land equals power. Why do you think the government tries to possess everybody's land? Like they're going overseas trying to possess land. They're you know, if you want to go into the whole Saudi Arabia thing, you know, they had their resources and natural resources was in the land. If you even want to speed it up, if you have a certain piece of land that is fruitful, that is plentiful with animals and things like that, that right there can keep a whole village going. Say you got a lot of deers on that 40 acres. Say you got say the soil is good to build on. You can have gardeners and things like that. See, I'm thinking along those terms, because land equals money, land equals power. The government wants to take all of that from us, and downsize what we're able to get, what we're able to do. But think about how much power we would have if we was had our own 40 acres and building communities on that 40 acres. Think about how much power and how much revenue could be generated right off that one piece of land. It's
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, off that land, you can do a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? And then if you look around, uh, for those people who actually like doing traveling, especially in the West, I mean, it's part of Texas that you would drive, you know what I'm saying, for a long time before you even see civilizations. So now I know the government actually have the land to give. You know what I'm saying? And then now if you just say you're gonna give me the land, then at the end of the day, okay, you can just owe me the mule. You know what I'm saying? Just give me the land first. But see now, if you travel, especially in the West, the Midwest, and the Northwest, you see all this unoccupied land. So now they can give it to us, but the thing about this is that you know what? It's not their intentions to give it to us. So that being, if it's not their intentions to give it to us, by us actually having this hope or we waiting for these reparations, it's actually holding us back. And now it actually putting us in predicament that we will have this 40 acres in the mule mentality that we looking for a handout. And I know even though this is a handout in this situation where reparations was promised, but the thing about it, we haven't received it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and it's going on, you know what I'm saying, what? And pretty soon it'll be almost what I think it's over 100 years. It's over 100 years. So now at what point do we free ourselves of that? And at what point do we say that, you know what? Hey, actually, I want to forget about them 40 acres of you, forget about the reparations, and I actually want to obtain freedom within myself and freedom from this mentality. Because if you look at it, all these incentive programs, it's pretty much something like a 40 acre. It's something that's given to you for nothing. So now, even though that's we was owed that, I think the mentality is what will hold us back.
um as long as they know we're one up, that's just like having that collateral over their head. Like, it's just like you said earlier. If somebody owe me some money, if you owe me $40, I might not have to say you owe me $40, but me and you know deep down inside that you owe me the money. Now, whether you choose to pay it to me or whether I choose to come after it, hey, where the $40? Where the $40? Where the $40? It doesn't change the fact that you owe me the $40. It is still owed to me. Now, you might ignore it, or uh you might not say to me, I owe you this money, I'll give it to you when I get it, or when I'll come across it. Even with you not saying it does not change the fact that you owe it to me. Now, it should not change the individual that is in the predicament to get it. I mean, it shouldn't change my thought pattern that you owe it. Life should still go on, and it shouldn't make me or break me over $40. It's the principle behind it. See, why can't we go to the principle behind our whole history and about what is owed to us? It's the principle about it. It might not even be that we want the 40 acres. It would be nice to have it, but it's not really that we need it. It's owed to it, and it's the principle behind it. Why negate the principle about the situation? That should be also brought to it, because I bet you Uncle Sam come for his. Let me tell you something.
Mhm.
You mess around and do something, and let your taxes be screwed up, or let you owe a bill or something. Uncle Sam coming for his. Uncle Sam gonna tax you, penalize you, and he gonna be waiting for every single dime you owe him to be paid back. So why, if the government can do that to us, Why can't we expect that from the government?
Hey, facts, facts. Hey, I think we should expect it from them though. But being realistic, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't, I'm up to the point now that I know that I will never receive a red cent in reparations. I know that now. And then so now I will teach my kids that. So now with my kids, I would never even bring up this reparation thing at all because now I know it's not nothing received. So now all I'm doing is just understanding how to approach a system. And you hit it on the head. It's like, you know what? We know in our mind that, you know what, he owes us that. So now, even though you'll still move on, knowing that he owe you that, but when it come down to it, I'm like, fuck it, man. I don't even want it no more. I mean, but if they give it to me, I'm gonna take it. But my mentality now is I don't want reparations. I don't want no handouts. I don't want nothing because now by me having that handout mentality, even though that it's owed to me, you know what I'm saying? And I say it's different. Yeah, it's old and it was promised. You know what I'm saying? I still got to say, hey, these motherfuckers have no intentions on giving it to me. So now for me to continue to say this, to continue to talk about it, it will only do me harm mentally. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the biggest thing that's actually dealing with us today. It's actually a mental barrier that's in between us because not because of 40 acres and a mule, but anything that's given. You receive nothing for free. And is that's like the laws of nature. You know what I'm saying? If you don't work, you don't eat. So now I don't want to receive nothing because now it made me into a different person today that I know that I got to get up and work for everything. So now I will always have that hunger. I will always have that drive and it will push me forward. And then by knowing that he owed me something that I didn't really get, it actually pushed me even more. And I think that's what we got to do. We got to stop looking for, you know what I'm saying, somebody to give us something and use that to fuel our flame to push forward.
No, well, I see it like this, Logic. No matter how much we get, it's still going to be taken from us. No matter how much progression we make, there's still going to be room for Uncle Sam to take from us. That their main objective is to keep us from being a powerful, and their objective to take is solely based upon not wanting our particular group of people to succeed in a certain way. Now, I'm not blaming anything, but that's been the whole scope of things throughout these generations. I see it like this: the less we have, the less powerful we can be. The more we have, the more powerful we can be. I think all of these things that have been implemented in our societies, in our communities, have strictly have been to slow down the process of us moving forward. Now, outside of one or two or three, and I'm just hypothetically speaking, but when I say one or two or three, I'm just meaning outside of a handful of people who have millions and billions out of our black culture and black nature, it's not many of us. And I think it's for a good reason because they know how powerful we are and how we can be. Now, I'm not saying it's white people holding us back. I'm not even putting a race into it. I'm looking at the government more or less than looking at one particular race doing it. See, if you say the government controls every single race: white, black, green, yellow, whatever. So I'm not even putting a race into it because when the government comes, their main objective is to slow us down.
And see that and see, and it's powerful. And I want to build on a point you just said. And I think especially the black people, that's something that we gotta actually move forward. Because the thing about this, the true government consists of a small percentage of people. So the military consists of people with minds like ours that's getting fucked too. You know what I'm saying? The Navy, everybody. A lot of these government workers consist of people that's getting screwed. So now, as a whole, white, black, Asians, goddamn South Americans, everybody as a whole, we got to understand how much power we obtain. Because, see, our 40 acres and a mule is not being held by the so called white man, it's being held by a small percentage of people. But see, if we constantly segregate ourselves from other races, what we end up doing is we lose our influence to actually take our shit. And then I think that's the thing. And Shots Fired made a good point. And I'm trying to go to your chat room and see it because it fell off my screen though. And then is that he made the point about we got to learn how to protect ourselves. But see, the key thing about protect ourselves, if they was to give us a mule, would we even know what to do with it today? You know what I'm saying? And that's going back to, you know what I'm saying, the title of my channel, Food, Clothing, and Shelter.
Right.
So now, would we know how to obtain these things? Would we know how to grow our own food? Would we know how to maintain these 40 acres? You know what I'm saying? So now it should bring us into a deeper understanding that, you know what, instead of progressing, a lot of times we took steps back. Because if you go back and you say in the 1900s, the early 1900s, if you would have gave these individuals out of slavery 40 acres and a mule, guess what they would have did? They would have took that shit and built on it. That's why they didn't give it to them. So now these guys would have had farms that was way more powerful than the so-called master farm. Master farm would be shit because these guys with a 40 acres and a mule, they would have took over. But now they didn't took us and they didn't gave us a new reality that even if we was to receive these 40 acres and a mule, would we know how to maintain it? Would we know how to make progression on it? Would we even know how to operate a mule? Would we know what a mule even for? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's these concepts that we gotta actually go back to, and it's back with nature. It's back to attaining the three key elements in life: food, clothing, and shelter. That's it. All the other shit is bullshit. And we got to get that mentality. And then now we'll learn how to actually protect our land. Because if you look at anywhere, other races know how to protect their land. You look at TV and you see standoffs against the FBI, and then the FBI got to back up because guess what? You're on these guys' land. So prepare yourself mentally, but at the same time, we got to go back and dig deep and find inside of us these skills that we done lost over the years. This ability to manipulate land. What you feel about that, Ace?
Well, I can only say this. When I used to travel from New York to North Carolina, I had my grandmother's brother. He had a mule. He had big hog. The hog was so old you couldn't do nothing. It was too tough to eat, so there's nothing you could really do but just feed it. I mean, and I was taught how to till the ground, how to plant seeds, how to fertilize. Like, I was taught all of that stuff, man. How to do that stuff every time I came from the city to the country. So I got an idea of how the country life was to start planting your own. They would do their own collard green gardens and all of these different vegetable gardens and all that stuff. So I have a knowledge of it, but it takes a team effort to want to think like that. See, when people think that you're taking it to the old days when you think about planting and gardening and doing those type of things, because we're in such a fast-paced world and a fast-paced society. People don't think about the money you save by doing planting your own and gardening your own. But I think now people are starting to move towards that now. Like that, this is starting to be a reality now. People are doing more gardening now. People are doing more organic type of living lifestyle now. So this is not far-fetched. It's like we're going back, but staying with the times. Now, we haven't got it. We haven't got the 40 acres in the mule, but have it stopped us from progressing? See, it's all about where we are now and where we're trying to go. Some people are not trying to go with us with that mindset. Some people don't even care about the 40 acres and a mule. They only care about me, myself, and I. But with the 40 acres and a mule, how can we help other individuals? And I believe that's part of the goal when we talk about these type of things on these type of platforms. It's to help other people as well. Not just feed my family, but if I got a garden, how many other families can I feed with that? You know, you understand? That's the whole mentality of the 40 acres and the mule. It's not to say the 40 acres and the mule to be for one individual. We got to realize the 40 acres and the mule is for a whole mass of people. So by the government trying to preach to us, thinking solely on one particular thing, when we bring topics up like this, we're thinking about a mass of people. How can we affect a mass of people sharing the 40 acres and the mule? What can I do with just 40 acres and a mule? I wouldn't be able to till it on my own. I wouldn't be able to utilize the whole 40 acres on my own. No, it would have to be other people to help me build on it or to help me utilize it. What you think about that?
No, I mean, hey, that's a powerful point. I mean, I'm in agreement because I think if you see, I think we already have our 40 acres in a mule, just like you said. But see now, if I say right now, I say, Ace, hey, I'm about to get out the army. I'm about to retire, man. I'm about to buy some land out in South Georgia. And I say, hey, look, you know what? You move your family down there, and then we start to build. Now I'm gonna say this because you look at it, there's actually a blueprint that's used by Mexicans, there's a blueprint that's used by Asians. That they're comfortable with exceeding. See, now, I think a lot of times we have a mentality that we're comfortable with surviving. So now we'll survive. We have all the Gucci slippers. We have all the Bugattis. We have all these nice cars and rides or whatever. But we would just be surviving, even though that we might think we're succeeding. You know what I'm saying? Within our immediate generation, but we pass nothing on to the next generation. So therefore, we are surviving. So now, when you look at other races, they exceed as races. You know what I'm saying? They obtain land and they pass this over to the next generation. And I think we don't do that because I think in our mind we're so materialistic that we don't look and say, hey, look, you know what? I'm not too good to sit here and stay with Ace and help Ace build and we build together. I'm not too good to sit here and say, you know what? I don't got my own studio. You know what I'm saying? I don't got my own man cave. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's just that mentality that you can have Mexicans that 100 of them can stay in one house. And then guess what? Nobody's looking down on them. But see, if me and you was to do this, guess what they'll say? Man, LoGic and Ace broke as fuck. You see what I'm saying?
Oh
They'll
yeah.
say, them lame dudes, they stand in the same house together. They own, you know what I'm saying? They can't afford their own stuff. So now that mentality, that's the mentality I'm talking about. Because now it's almost feel like we always trying to be like somebody else, but we're not looking at the real blueprints and saying, guess what? Right now in the United States, the Mexicans are winning. And these are the same individuals that we used to laugh at that was riding 30 deep in a car. They was riding in the back of a pickup truck and damn near they hit a bump, one gonna fall off. We was laughing at them. But you know what they was doing? They was putting their resources together to do bigger things. And I think that if we was to get this land, it would die out because we don't know how to work together. And until we learn how to work together, then we will still be in this rabbit hole that we in today.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this, LoGic. the reason why they live on top of each other like that, like say they might have 9 to 1 a 3 bedroom household or whatever the case is, they send their money back to where they're from because their money is probably triple or double to what our money is here in the States. So what they do is they still have relatives and family members, daughters and kids, whatever, that probably are back where they live at, and the money from here being sent there can be quadruple of what they're probably making because they're in poverty. But what I do say is, if we did it over here, I'm not saying, because there's a lot of people I know that probably have their uncles living with them, and their mothers, uncles, and all of them living in one house, and still they don't utilize the income. It's just a free ride for some people. But why is that? Why, if we don't come together and say, you know what, you have this amount of money coming in, well, let's put it to this, to buy this piece of land in Carolina because it's only going for $5,000, and then we can move there and then move from there and then branch off to buying more land. Like, I'm just thinking, brainstorming. Why couldn't that be? Why live in the same household for 15 years and you haven't moved anywhere to gain more out of the money you could be saving by living in that same household? See, these things are not happening. It's because people are not talking about this is what they should do, because they'll get mad at you if you tell them that. If somebody right now says, "Hey, let's do this," they'll get mad at you and take it as an insult rather than taking it as something to help. You see what I'm saying? People is
Yeah,
taking
I
things
totally
as
agree though.
insults. Well,
Yep.
why you in my business? Why you counting my money? Why you worried about what I'm? But you living in my household for 15 years, dude, and you really ain't paying no rent. So what you mean? Why am I counting your money? What are you doing with your money? You see what I'm saying? By now, you should be having 2 or 3 houses. Why are you living off of me, barely, you know, barely paying me any rent, barely paying for food? This is just hypothetical things. You understand what I'm saying? But why not save that money? Which I'm not charging you that much, but why not save that money so you can invest it in something else? I had a buddy call me not that long ago and was like, "Man, he's already up to, I mean, over 10 houses. He's buying them for $5,000, $4,000, $2,000, and he's rehabbing them. And this is in Carolina where I used to live. So I'm like thinking, like, wow, if he doing all of that for that little bit of money, what else could I do? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, look, maybe me and you can go partner up on a house so I can get my foot in there."
Yep. And see, the thing about this is that goes back to that mentality. If you was to sit here and say, you know what, brother, I'm gonna sell my house here. I'm gonna sell my vehicles. You know what I'm saying? Because that's some shit we really don't need if we think about it. If we sell all that and we start banding together. Right now we got 21 some odd people in here. If these 21 people say, you know what, fuck what we was told is a comfortable life. Let's truly band together and live a comfortable life. If everybody in here took all their resources and sold them and looked to establish something together, you don't need no protection then, because guess what you got? You have internal protection. You know what I'm saying? You don't need you got an internal army. You got an internal education system. You got a lot of internal capabilities within yourself. And that's why I say all the time, we have to find the truth from ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We was designed reality to say, guess what? Oh, everybody should have their own house. But you know what? Fuck that. Why don't we just say, I'm gonna sell everything, and then now let's get a big ass house together. So now let's split these electronic bills together. Let's split this water bill together. Let's split this cable bill together. And now we learn and build from each other. But see, we get that so selfish that me, I, mines, that we don't know how it is to actually build with individuals that we the same. And see, that's the point where it hurt us at, because now I don't know your friend, but if you was to actually tell him that, he'll be, you know what? It's like, man, ain't you crazy as fuck, bro? You want to come down here and move with me and sell all your shit and try to build with me? No. He'd rather do it alone, because that's the mentality that we have today. Do it yourself. Hey, you can survive by yourself. Yes, you can survive by yourself, but you can exceed with somebody else. And then now, if I get 3 people, I'm really exceeding. And then now, when we start building together, you say we got a problems with schools. Well, fuck it. If 25 families come together, guess what they'll be able to do? Make their own school, make their own police system, make their own public transportation. Because guess what? Instead of a fucking Cadillac, guess what we'll buy? We'll buy a van. And if anybody got something to say, fuck you. Because guess what? We winning. You losing. We expanding. We put all our money together, and now we buy more land. We buy more houses. So now we're expanding it, but we starting from ourselves, because we got to get our truths from ourselves and not our reality. Our reality say, no, you need to be segregated from everybody else. You need to have your own individual house. You need to have this. You need to have this. You, me. And it's no us and we. That's what's killing us.
Well, LoGic. I want to say this, and I'm not only can speak for myself. What's happening is now people are not practicing accountability, and as well as accountability, taking the initiative. If we teach and practice that to our kids and living up in our own self, taking the initiative to do something without somebody saying, do this. Like saying, you know what, let's do it because this is going to help further us and it's going to help move us. Me as a manager, I tell the people that work under me, I say, don't look for me to just tell you every single movement. If we've been doing this for X amount of years, you already know what to do. Just do it. And I think that makes my management skills as a manager, very, very decent. People love the way I manage. People love to be on my crew because of the way I operate. I don't have to tell you every single move. I ain't got to tell you how to go to the bathroom and wipe yourself. So if you've been doing this job for over 5 years, why should I have to tell you how to do it? You should already know. So what about taking the initiative at some point and saying, you know what? I'm going to do this just because I know it got to be done. Not just because I'm in charge making money, I need to tell you what to do. But why not just do it because you know that needs to be done? And I applaud people who use their mind in that way. Okay, if somebody ain't doing this, let me do this in this manner. Or if LoGic didn't take the lead, how about I take the lead and do this because it needs to be done? Vice versa or whatever. That's what needs to happen. We as a people need to take the initiative to do things without somebody else putting the battery on our back to do it. And watch how further we get when we operate in that manner. Instead of saying, you know what, looking clueless as if we don't know what to do, saying, you know what, I know this needs to be done. How about I'll do it and take the lead first? I'll take the first step and hopefully somebody else will follow. That's how great minds is built. Somebody taking the lead and doing it. What you say?
No, I'm with you. I mean, and that's so on point, man. And then I'm telling you, I think the biggest hazard to that plan is ourselves, because we gotta strip down all this superficial bullshit, and we gotta look and just, and it's obvious, man. It's so obvious that me and you together, with probably a couple of more families, get out of our what we consider to be comfortable today, and we strip ourselves down and we start developing ourselves through us. You know what I'm saying? Imagine how much we can save. Imagine how many resources that we can truly gain. And then now, imagine how much we can pass on to our babies. You know what I'm saying? That's powerful. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what? Hey, I'm not buying a new car again. I'm buying a van. And then now everybody utilize that van as a collective. And then now, guess what? If we got a young individual, guess what he'll do? He'll be the driver. He'll drive around, or we got an older individual that may not be able to do the physical labor. He will be a driver. You know what I'm saying? It's that some of the things are obvious. And imagine all the income coming into a household. But you know what to stop it though? We still got that hip hop mentality. The hip hop mentality is what? Have a big ass mansion to yourself, have a big ass refrigerator full of food that you can't even eat, that is spoils. You know what I'm saying? Imagine how many people that Gucci Man can have in this mansion right now. And then he can just say, you know what? Just come here. You take your money. I'm paying for all the food. I'm paying for all the clothes. Whatever you earn, we put it in a pot and we're going to buy additional resources. They don't do that because of what? They're trained. It was pushed on them. This was their reality. Their reality is not to truly have a community. Their reality is to have a neighborhood. And now it's no commerce, no unity. So now it's no communities out here. They're neighborhoods. They're individual sections that's just living together. But now if we really want to establish a community, let's bring all our commerce together and let's truly unify it and get over our fucking self, strip down all this superficial bullshit, and let's grow and build together. So now guess what? Lil Ace and my daughter Janaya, they got a future. And then we teach them and educate them to carry on the same thing, because guess what? It's a winning solution. And you know what they'll do? They'll adapt to it. They was like, my daddy Ace and my daddy LoGic was winning. And now guess what? We want to win too. So now eventually you will overthrow the government by what? Sheer numbers and logic. That's crazy. Let me switch the chat up.
I want to say peace to Aces in the Hole. Aces in the Hole, love y'all guys, man. My chat, Aces in the Hole. Big ups to y'all. Peace to y'all. Right now, as we move forward and we look at how our cards are dealt and the cards that we are dealing that we're dealing right now. Okay, all right, let's use this current event that's now taking place. And I want to say peace and power to all the people in Texas that are going through this monstrosity of a event in their life with this hurricane and all of the stuff that's taking place. I want to say my prayers go up to those who've lost their family members. My prayers go up to those who are without home, without any type of shelter. Now, with that being said, those who are in the midst of that storm, it's going to take a community effort to get Texas back, that part of Texas back up and going to the way it used to be or even better, right? Now, if there was one individual that was on their own, like, I don't want to build with them, I don't want to do that, I'll do it my way, it'll probably take that individual much longer than it would a group of people coming together saying, hey, we about to do this, let's build our communities back up, or let's build our houses back up. But so it's going to have to be a mindset drilled into them to do it. But why does it have to be a disaster in order for that to happen? Why can't it just be that we need to do it and just do it? See, a lot of times disasters bring the best out of people. You understand what I'm saying? The disasters and the disasters of nature can bring the best out of people. But why does it have to take that? Why can't we, now that the things are calm in some of our lives where it's not a lot kicking up, why can't we just say, you know what? I've been brainstorming, cousin, uncle, whatever, and you seem to be steady in your life. How about we team up and move forward to do this? I know some people on my job, what they do is they're paying on land right now, so when they retire, they moving. You see what I'm saying? They're paying X amount of dollars on a piece of land and building them a house on some land, and they moving. But if they can do that, why can't we say, you know what? We got us five that been building for this amount of years. Why can't we put some money and get some land and start building? What about one of us grab a franchise? You know, it costs what, 200, quarter of a mil, a little over that to get a franchise, depending on what franchise it is. Why not buy a franchise and utilize that to hire some more people to get more franchises to build?
But see, the reason that it will fail, and then even though some might succeed, but see the ones that succeed, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna go on and try to use the blueprint that they had to succeed. But as a majority, we fail because we don't think about doing it together. And it's crazy that when we say the unity in community is actually together. So now, if you want to truly make a change, you would do it together, but you start from the commerce. So now I understand that. Guess what? If I'm probably able to do it by myself, yes. But if I can do it with 12 other individuals with like minds, then it's even more powerful because now I can move faster. But this the problem. And I hate always bringing up the problem because the thing about this is you got to establish structure before you have infrastructure. And then now that structure is what we don't have. So now it's hard for me to find 7 families to actually truly get involved with. If I do it, I will fail. You know what? I can't even find decent YouTubers to build with. That's sad. I
Yeah,
can't even find people to actually do stuff for black youth. It's sad. So now, I mean, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but what we're seeing is that, yes, we don't look to establish generational wealth and we don't look to establish nothing generational to pass over to the next one. But the same thing, the biggest hazard to us is that if somebody else is doing that, we will do whatever we got to do to take them down. And then now that's the biggest hazard. That's the structure that we need. We got to understand this structure. We got to understand that, man, you know what? Maybe staying with 7 families is the only thing we haven't tried. We didn't try everything else. We didn't try riding. We didn't try protests. We didn't try everything. But the only thing that we haven't truly tried is the coming together thing. We would never try the coming together thing, and that's the best option.
right,
The best
right.
option for us to come together. And then that's the road that we refuse to go on. Coming together. And that's crazy. Man, let me get a drink. You got it, Ace.
Yeah, once we separate the differences, once we separate, I don't this, I don't that. See, my motto is, even though we disagree about things, what's up, bro? What's up, Uncle Shug? What's up? Good to see y'all in Aces in the Hole. Charles, peace to you. Charles was good. What's up? My thing is, once we put aside the differences and saying, okay, yes, we differ on a lot of things, but what do we agree on? Taking what we agree on, building off of that, and making that the strong point to say this is how we move forward into bettering what we want to do. There got to be some things that we agree on. Like, I mean, I rarely came across a person that totally agrees with every single thing that I stand for. There got to be something that you agree on. Okay, you might like the same color as mine. Okay, let's go with that. Whatever we build, let's make it the same color that we agree on. Using that for an example. Now, with that being said, as we maneuver in life, you'll come across people that you disagree. But once we find the things we agree on, that's what makes what we do strong. Okay, if somebody works different than me, long as you're putting in some work, we should be able to get to the same goal, when time permits it. Like at my job, when I train somebody on my job, I might train them and then they might find another way that works for them. Now, I'm not going to say don't do it that way. No, I'm going to say whatever works for you, work it, long as you get the job done. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how you do it, long as the job gets done. I'm okay with it. So if we're coming together to do something, we'll put aside the petty differences. Well, I like corn. Well, you don't. Okay, I like steak. Well, you don't. Or what we don't agree on. Let's agree on some things, on what we do agree on. And that's the way I think. I run things, because when I had my own business and I was doing home improvement, when I hired somebody, even though I knew the skill that I hired them to do, I didn't change the way they did it just because I knew a different way. Now, if it was hindering the progress of the job, I might have said something. But outside of that, it was no need for me to say anything because I hired them to do that specific job. So, with that being said, all of what we want to do and we try to do, if we continue to put our best foot forward, even though we might disagree on some things, let's find out what we agree on and strengthen that. That's what makes a movement move forward. Don't you know, CEOs and stuff, they don't agree on with every single thing that the employees under them um, um, disagree or agree about. But what they do is they'll have a poll, or they'll have something saying, what do you like about your job, or what do you dislike, or whatever, and people fill a survey out, and then they will go over that survey to see what is the likes or dislikes about the job or what they're doing.
And you know what's crazy though is at the end of the day, what they do agree upon, they agree upon winning.
Right, right.
That's crazy. They agree upon winning. You know what I'm saying? No matter what color you are, no matter, how tall you is, how fat your butt is, they don't care. They agree about winning. So now they take their best opportunity to win. And now I think, for us, we have to actually say, you know what? I will accept nothing else but winning. I would
Right.
accept nothing else but winning. You know what I'm saying? It been times I've been on the this YouTube channel, man, and I go to bed at night, and some of the people out here, man, they drain the hell out of me, man. I ain't gonna lie. But see, the thing is that I still got that winning mentality though. So I know it's some people out there that I'ma touch. Some people out there that gonna come to me offline and say, you know what, Logic, check this out. I've been just like you. I've been going from generation to generation of fuckery. And then now, fuck it. You know what? Let's strip ourselves down. And I'm saying not really strip yourself down, people, but let's strip ourselves down of all our bullshit, excuse my French. And then now let's move forward together for the betterment of our kids. Let's lose everything that we was taught, because everything we was taught hasn't worked for us so far. So now, if we not winning, the stuff that, we've been taught hasn't worked for us, then now let's use a new blueprint. And with that blueprint, we got to take out all the fuckery that we've been dealing with, all the mentalities that's sold to us. We got to strip ourselves down naked really, and then say, you know what is the truth? What do our truths lie? And then now let's establish these truths together, and then we will start actually, like that song I always play. You know what I'm saying? They screaming black power, but where the hell is the progression? We will start progressing. But now for years and generation, we haven't been progressing as a people. If you look at it, we haven't been progressing as a nation. You know what I'm saying? And then the world hasn't been progressing. Only a small amount of people that's progressing. So not just the black people and Asian people, but all people. We need to look for progression. I don't understand why we can't do that. And then now the blueprint given to us that saying this is your reality, this is natural for you to do these things. It hasn't worked. So why in the hell are we still trying it? That's crazy. Why are we still trying it and it hasn't worked? Hasn't worked for your grandma, hasn't worked for your great-great grandma, hasn't worked for your mom and your daddy. So what make you think that all of a sudden that this broke ass blueprint go automatically catch some life and start working? It shit been broke for generations, people. And guess what? The only people that can change that is the people that take that shit and throw it out the window and come back with a new one.
Hey, the blueprint. Each one of us have something we can offer. I mean, I can't discredit what another individual comes to the table with. We only say when you come to the table with your ideas, whether it's big or small, but whether we see it as a good one or not, still bring your ideas to the table, and as a collective agree whether it would be effective to utilize your idea into helping the movement of what we're trying to do. Now, if your idea does not fit this particular part of what we're doing, does not mean it can't be utilized at some time for something different. Now, whether you would call that tradition or whether you would call that what you have inquired throughout your years, all things can be used. All things. I don't discredit. Just like with an animal, they use just about every piece of the animal that can be used. You see what I'm saying? All things can be used. It just depending on will it be fruitful or will it be beneficial at that particular time. You see what I'm saying? Now, whatever we're doing is a collective. If we can say that idea is going to work with what we're doing, then you accept it and you move on. But if it's so far left that's going to pull us away from the direction we're going, then we'll say, well, you know what? At this particular time, we can't utilize that, but just keep it in the back of your mind and bring it up at a later time at something different that we're doing. I don't discredit every single thing. I say it all can be used at some particular time, but will it fit what we're doing at this time? And that's what we need to look at, is the ideas of what we're doing, can it fit what we're doing as a whole? And some people, with what they're doing and the ideas that they have, they'll say, well, if you don't agree with me, I'm taking my ideas somewhere else. It might not be that. It might just be that at this particular time we're moving different.
Well, I gotta disagree with you on this. So this is Ace versus Logic. So the thing about this is that we shouldn't give credit to something that don't deserve credit. You know what I'm saying? When you actually think about just credit, period, you know what I'm saying? It's something that works. So you know what I'm saying? Like you have to have something or you have to build something in order to have credit. So what I'm saying with the overall blueprint that we have, that's why we gotta strip ourselves down. Because if we continue to go back to the same thing that hasn't worked, at some point we have to realize before it's too late that it hasn't worked. And then now, if we live in that reality that it is going to magically start working after generations of failing, then now isn't we selling ourselves short at that point?
I think it's part of the rebuilding process. When something fails, does not mean it could not have succeeded. If something fails, that just means that it has to have some more restructure to it in order to succeed. So even if my blueprint of when I had my three houses, right? Although I don't currently have it. When I did have it and was leasing out and doing all that stuff, I had the knowledge of how to do that. Now, should I get rid of the blueprint that got me that far? Or should I say I restructure what I've had to get me there and restructure it to make it stronger and to make it more effective and work more? I mean, and work for me. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to get rid of what I know. I'll just restructure it so it could be stronger and rebuild it to something better. I can't
Okay.
see knowledge. The knowledge of doing that is the power. That's where the power lies in what you know on how to build with. I don't have to have nobody to teach me about the mortgage game because I somewhat know something about it now. If there's things I don't know, that's what I need to learn in order to make it stronger. But I'm not going to get rid of all of the knowledge I've had predated what I'm finding out now. You see what I'm saying? Why do that? Because then it will be putting me further back when I should be moving forward. That's just my. I had to disagree with some of what you said, but that's just my take on that.
Yeah, I don't think. Hold up, maybe I misspoke, but I don't think you should tear down the whole structure. But you got to be able to identify what's not working.
Right. Now
So,
that's what we agree on. There we go. Okay.
but the thing about this is some of the concepts that we have inside of our blueprint or inside of our house, it hasn't worked for generations. So now we need to really analyze ourselves and say, you know what? Maybe it wasn't smart for me to build a toilet right next to the kitchen with no walls. So now let's go ahead and take that toilet, and then we're gonna move it all the way on the other side of the house and put four walls around it and put a ventilation system in there. And then so you learn that through experience, you modify your blueprints. Because if you look at it, if you look at some of the old houses, the first houses that was actually developed, you know what I'm saying? It was just one room and they had a toilet in there. And then so now one person had to use the bathroom, and old mama was in there cooking, and they was like, you know what? Maybe this wasn't the best idea for me to put this toilet right here. So now let's put it outside and let's call it an outhouse. So they actually had to experiment with that. You know what I'm saying? So now they understand that. So now their blueprint was modified, but it was modified because they identified the stuff that didn't work. But now, if you compare it today, some of the stuff we hold dear and we hold near to us, it hasn't been working. So right now, we sit here with that toilet right next to our stove, and then old daddy coming now after work, and he sit down, he start using the bathroom, and we still stir that pot and acting like we don't smell it, and acting like we can't think to say, you know what, it's a better way to do this. So now let's do it. That's the thing. See, now what we've been deceived with so much is our reality. It might be sick for me to say this, but our reality is saying that it's okay to have that toilet next to our stove. Even though we tired of smelling it, we will still tell ourselves that, you know what, man, it's okay to have this toilet right here. But everybody know that it's not. Your kids raised up and said, well, mom and dad, why we got this toilet right here? And you say, oh, leave that toilet alone. That toilet been there for generations. That toilet is something that we hold near and dear to us. But the common sense, logical approach would be like, put it outside or put it away from the kitchen and surround it. Put a vent up there. That's my point. The stuff that hasn't worked, if it works, then by all means take that and build upon it and progress that. But we got to actually build ourselves up by actually truly identifying and say, has not worked for ages. Now let's fix it. That's our biggest hazard.
Okay, I agree with that. I can agree with that. Deep down inside, when things don't work out, we have to be honest with ourselves to say it just doesn't work. But I don't think that's where the issue lies at this particular time. I think the problems that we're coming into is not whether a system is not working or not. Is how do you know something is not working? It has to be tested. How do you know that it's not working? It has to be evidence it's not working. How do you know that it's not being conformed to work for our good? Because it's not being challenged. So I think the more challenges we get to prove whether something is working or not is where we're at right now. Nobody is challenging themselves to see whether this is working or to see whether something is going to be show and prove to work. I think now we're just going with the flow with a lot of things. But if we start moving and challenging the things that we're faced with, then we can find out, yes, this is beneficial to us and it's working for us. We're not being challenged, man.
But see, I think we gotta. I don't even think I think it's just being realistic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the end of the day, and then I'm finna get ready to be called a coon. But we know drugs destroy our community, correct?
Right.
We know gangs destroy our community, correct?
Right.
So why don't we just call the police on them? I bought this up and I got called 1,000 coons. But if you really want to clean up your neighborhood, put a webcam outside of your door. If you got drug dealers outside of your door, put a webcam out there and make a YouTube channel called Call the Police and put your address on it or your street and stream all the drug dealers out there. And I promise you the drug dealers will run out that motherfucking thing. But
Well,
see, we don't do that because guess what we'll say? They'll say, what they'll tell me? LoGic, you a snitch. You snitching on your brothers for the man. But now, if we truly desire about cleaning up our community, or nope, not communities, clean up our neighborhoods, we got to take steps forward. And if we know what's wrong with us, it's no way that we don't say that we don't know what's wrong with us. We know what's holding us back. It's nobody that stay in any type of community, whether it's a suburban community or whether it's a you know what I'm saying, you staying in the city, whatever. Everybody in their neighborhoods know the problems. They know the problems because they stand there. They know if they go down the street and then it's a pothole on the curve right there, and if you're going over 10 miles an hour, it gonna mess your rim up. We know our environment, so we know what's wrong. But do we got the courage to sit here and stand up and say, let's fix it? That's it. Or will we continue to slow down every time we hit that pothole and or dodge it and ignore it? That's it. That's what we're doing. We're ignoring the obvious. We know that pothole there, but we're ignoring it. We know that we got the guy that stayed 2 doors down. When he get drunk, he starts speeding down the street, and we ignore it. But guess what? The only time we bring it up, if he hit one of our kids. He can speed past the neighbor's kids and then nobody will say nothing. So now we know the problems. I mean, I can't let nobody get away with that because we know the problems. It's that if we're gonna willing to stand up and say, you know what, enough is enough with these problems. That's it. That's all I talk about is the problems that I know. But guess what? I become a coon because I'm looking and I'm seeing that pothole and I say, I will not pass that pothole again without fixing it or at least addressing it. And if I address it to the neighborhood and they say, no, that pothole good, just continue to dodge it. I'm a coon, I'm a police, I'm all the above. That's the problem.
well, we got to look at it from two different perspectives and two different point of views. Look at it like this: people are most likely scared of the retaliation and the harassment they will get from telling on the drug dealers. See, we just can't look at that people don't want to, but look at all of the repercussions that come out of that. And will the police protect you from that? I don't really think so. They're not going to send no police to surveillance your property and watch after you until this subside. No, people come to harass you. They'll mess up your cars for you telling on them, slash your tires, throw rocks, break your windows, and do stuff to your home. They'll do these things out of repercussion for telling on them. And then that puts your family in danger. So that's why a lot of people in the communities do not speak up, because some of these young folks don't care. If they'll shoot and kill with no rhyme or reason, or with no conscience, with no heart, what you think they'll do to you? And you can go through all of the examples of people who have almost testified and got harassed and even got killed because they were speaking up like people say they should do, but then nobody protected them when the repercussion came behind that. You talk about speaking up, messing up a potential $40,000, $50,000 scheme or scam, or not scam, or something going on. Like if the drug dealer is being ran or pushed by somebody who has clout and who even paying some of the police officers and commissioners, how you going to go up against that being one individual? You can't. You're going to be destroyed. They're going to come after you, harass you. So I believe with that point that you brought up, I just have to disagree a little bit because I understand the repercussions that come out of speaking up. Now, if there was a whole entire 3 block radius speaking up and trying to combat this, it probably would work. But not just 1 or 2 individuals. You'll get harassed so much, you probably would have to move.
Now, you know what? You'll have to move. See, because the thing about this is I realize that them individuals that you just stated, them my biggest enemies. So now I won't move, but I prepare. I won't move, but I prepare. So now, with that being said, in that scenario, that means there's no hope. That means, you know what, just because a drug dealer say he gonna kill me and I should be scared, but then guess what? I should actually let him continue to do what he want to do and ignore it. And see, I'm not going to ignore it. If I see it, I'm putting you on blast. And then now if I put you on blast, I'm a snitch. And then now, you know what I'm saying, that I'm alone. But that comes to the unity. Because guess what? It's a whole lot of people on that block that feel the same way I feel. But it's a whole lot of people that might be scared, just like you said. So now guess what LoGic gonna do? LoGic gonna get his concealed license and LoGic gonna buy him, you know what I'm saying? I got a whole lot of guns. So now I'm gonna go and truly protect my community or neighborhood. But now, when I say, who's with me? The same people that's sitting in the town hall meeting complaining about the police brutality, not even complaining about the brutality that happens to their community every day. They're not complaining about the black on black crime, but they'll get out there and protest about the occurrence of the police brutality. But you look at the brutality in your neighborhood that happens every hour and you ignore that. So now you wonder why people, when they go up and they protest, nobody says you're credible. Because what you're doing is you picking what you actually want to address. You address the police brutality, but you see black on black brutality every day, you ignore it. So now, if I was in position, I would ignore you too. Because you can't even clean up your own neighborhood and you expect us to do it for you. That's the problem. That's that 40 acres and a mule mentality. I want somebody to do something for me that I can do for myself. I can clean up the neighborhood for myself. Me and you, Ace, we get out that bitch and we be armed to a T. All the little gangster cliques or whatever, they know we armed, and then all we got to do is bust one of their ass, excuse my language, bust one of their ass, and I promise you, they won't test us. And if they really bad, and as soon as you see me bust that ass, somebody else gonna come out their house, and they gonna say, "Hey, I'm on the team with y'all."
But see,
what a gun.
But see, LoGic, I didn't mean to cut you off. If I did, I apologize. What I'm trying to say is, they're just the peons on a bigger, broad scale of everything. See, we're looking at it's just like trying to put a Band-Aid on a gun wound, on a bullet hole. It ain't gonna work. We're trying to go after the wrong people. You trying to go after the one that's on the corner, but it's not. He's being pushed or funded by somebody on top of him, and then somebody on top of that person. So it's not okay. So we get rid of that one, but then there's going to be somebody to replace that one. We get rid of that one. It's going to be somebody to replace. If there is a goal, they're not going to relinquish that set or relinquish that, because that's what's making them money. And then also the people that are on our blocks are probably 9 times out of 10 being fed by that one individual. So that's why they're not speaking up, or that's why they're not turning them in, because how you going to turn somebody in that's feeding you the drugs? We have to have enough people that has the same like mind that is not involved or have any ties with the streets to speak up. Because once you got ties in the streets, you just weakened your stance, or you just weakened the power for you to go after anybody, because that drug dealer gonna say, hey, how you gonna come after me and you buying from me?
I still say the power is within the people, because they in them communities, everybody don't use drugs and everybody don't sell drugs. You know what I'm saying? The people that use drugs and sell drugs is a smaller percentage of these neighborhoods. But see, they allow it because they accept it out of fear, and out of maybe the members that's doing this is in their family. But see, now that's the realization that we got to get to, that you know what? Guess what? It only takes one person to bust a drug dealer ass. Now you empower the other individuals to bust a drug dealer ass, because now it's my belief that you got to start from within yourself before you can even implement any other changes. Because right now we're not credible. When they go to these state centers, and they go to these town hall meetings, and they complain about, you know what I'm saying, the police brutality, they complain about all these different elements. And then now, how do these individuals look at them when they don't complain about what they see outside their door every day that they can do something about? But if I bust that drug dealer in the ass, I'm the fucking police, right? I'm the coon. But then guess what? As soon as I bust him in his ass, I just empowered another person that's sick of this shit to bust him in his ass also. So now what we gonna do is we gonna get a whole group of individuals that's busting them in their ass. And now guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna find somewhere else to go. And then now, by default, we're cleaning up our community ourselves. But you never hear that. And that's the easiest way. Or you can wait on the government to come clean it up for you, just like you wait on the government to give you 40 acres and a mule. And you know it's not going to happen. So now, why are we still waiting on it? The government will never clean up our neighborhoods because it won't benefit them. It would not benefit them to clean up our neighborhood, so they'll keep that shit exactly like it is, so they can continue to funnel drugs, they continue to funnel illegal weapons, they continue to funnel prostitutions in our neighborhoods. So they would never clean it up. It's not to their benefit to clean it up. It's to our benefit to clean it up. So now we got to carry the cojones to clean it up. But then if you got a bunch of scary motherfuckers around now that don't want to clean it up, that'll get here and talk slick to me on a YouTube channel because I don't know them, that it's all digital, but they look outside their neighborhood the whole day and look at these dope boys destroying their whole community. They eat the honey bun and ball the goddamn wrapper up and throw the shit on the ground. They get drunk, they start throwing their Hennessy bottles on the ground. They the ones that destroyed the community. They the ones that's tearing the community down. They the ones that's decreasing the value of the homes. So now you tell me who the biggest enemy to these communities? The black people that's destroying it, or the so-called elite?
Well, I think the biggest drug dealers is the government. And I say that with conviction, but I understand that they're funding a lot of the activities in our neighborhoods, whether people want to admit it or not, or whether they want to, accept that reality. It's the truth, because there are the lower part of our people that if you wave a dollar in their face, they'll go ahead and they'll fall down and follow that narrative. There's some drug dealers as old as 20 and 21. They don't really know nothing about the game, but who's teaching them about the game? Who's funding them about the game? And it all streams around the government. They're only doing but so much because they need that to keep everything going. The drug dealer is needed in the communities. I don't want them, but it's needed, because then how will lawyers get paid? How will bail bondsmen get paid?
Who
It,
cares? It's
but
not.
no, no, no. Listen, Logic. I'm not saying, I'm not using it as a defense. I'm saying they're funding this to keep all of these things going, though. That's why these things are so prevalent in our neighborhoods, because there's a bail bondsman on every corner. There's lawyers throughout that phone book that needs to bail these drug dealers out. That's why it's still a revolving thing. If you clean up our neighborhoods, then there won't be no need for lawyers, criminal lawyers. There won't be no need for all of these different, and they would probably have to downsize the police force, because there won't be no need for X amount of police. That's why you don't see no results in the efforts in cleaning up the neighborhoods from the drugs, because they are pushing this narrative. Why don't, in the news, you only see that it's black people doing the drugs and this and that. You don't really see other nationalities posted across posted across any type of media like blacks are. Like we're the only ones selling drugs. We're not the only ones. There's white people, there's Chinese mafia, there's all kind of people that sell drugs. But why are blacks the only one depicted that we're selling drugs? There's not only black on black crime, there's white on white, there's all other races that have the same thing black people do. But we seem to be the only ones publicized, because that fits the narrative to keep this thing going.
Okay, so if we know that, this is what I'm saying. If we know that they putting these drugs in our neighborhood to kill us, if we know they putting these guns in our neighborhood to kill us, if we know that, and I was downtown Baltimore, it's a damn Buns Bellsman on every corner of the street. We know this. So now, if we know this and we still do the shit, doesn't that make us the crazy ones? Because you can't expect them to actually clean up our shit when our shit is benefiting them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, come on, we got to say that, you know what? Hey, look, check this out. They not going to clean up our neighborhood, just like they not going to give us 40 acres and a mule. It's not going to happen. So now, do we sit here and wait for the 40 acres and a mule? Do we sit here and wait on them to see and decide that it's in their best interest to clean up our community, or we do it ourselves? See, I know that you know what I'm saying, that, you know, the CIA is probably involved in all this shit. But the thing about this, who control the dynamics in your neighborhood? You do. You outnumber the drug dealers and the crackheads. You outnumber the prostitutes. You outnumber all these guys. So now, it's the same scenario we dealing with now, that we said a small percentage is controlling the dynamics for the masses. And we sit here and we act like we helpless. We're not helpless. It's just that we sold this helpless mentality. We got this so-called 40 acres and a mule mentality that, you know what, we think that somebody else need to fix us when we can fix ourselves. And then that's my point. I agree with everything you said. It exists. I didn't been to Baltimore. Baltimore got some of the most messed up streets I ever seen in my life. They tearing down the communities in Baltimore, the neighborhoods. I drive down there, I'm clutching my pistol. I see a liquor store, I see Bell's Buzzmans, I see all these things that you said every time I was going down to Baltimore, and I see exact duplicate of that in Atlanta. And now the only people that would fix that is not the Bell's Buzzman, because guess what? He want them to go to jail so they can bond them out. It's not going to be the liquor store guy, because guess what? He want them to get that, and you know what I'm saying, have their little parties, their little dope boys, so they can come in and buy 100 bottles.
Yep.
He has no interest in seeing us progress. He have interest in seeing us being exactly where we at. So now, by us even acknowledging that he exists, I say this: until we start putting them Bell's Bondsmen out of business, then we making progress. Until we start taking our communities back and providing our own security forces, having our black men able to carry weapons legally, So now when we bust their ass, that's what we need the Bells Bondsman for, and the whole community to come together and get us out of jail. Because I guarantee you this, I'm gonna share a story with you. I was in North Carolina, Fayetteville, and then I got into an altercation with a drug dealer, and then I pulled out my gun and I started laying everything down. The cops came and they said, "What happened?" They talked to the witnesses. I was free with my gun within 5 minutes because I was in the right. And regardless of the big overall term, like if we start going to jail for protecting ourselves, then we got another issue. That's a whole nother issue. But we haven't even reached that point yet. And I think at one point in time, once we start taking our communities back, that will become an issue. But we got to take a step to move forward. We got to progress to even get to that. So now we can address that once we get to that point. But we got to start busting off in their ass. And if we don't start taking stuff for ourselves, then you know what I'm saying? It's like this. They worse for us than the government because they're holding us in captivity just like the government is.
I say this LoGic, the mindset of our young people is where it's going to come from, because you can't look for the older generation to do much other than just speak their piece, because you can't be looking at no 60, 70-year-old telling them to go do it, because they don't have the energy and to go out there and do it. So it's more or less looking at the younger to middle age individuals to get out there in the hustle and bustle and grind to make this effective. Now, we're up against a whole lot of different scenarios when it talks about respecting our communities and doing better in our communities. You're up against a whole movement to try to do this. Now, as we're saying, rap is the dominant driving force behind some of the younger minds out there right now. You're up against that influence. Then you're up against the influence of drugs. You got a whole lot to try to work out before you can get to that one individual into making the change in our neighborhoods, because it's going to start with the young people. You can't by our middle age you should know better by then. And most of the people do know better. Most of the stuff you're seeing now is from the younger generation that don't care. So we're trying to reach them in order to put things back into perspective. Not the middle and not the older. It's the younger generation, because they're the ones that are out of control. They're the ones that don't care about life, trying to make a dollar by any means necessary. You see what I'm saying? They're taking that mentality of quick success overnight. Let me be the rapper. That's how I'm going to make it. They don't care about settling down, trying to make a family, trying to do like the middle age into the older people who are doing this. It's the younger. So that's where we look to and look at to see how can we change what's taking place. But we got a whole lot of cleaning up to do before we can even reach them.
I agree, but it's my opinion that the first thing we got to do is take a stand. Like you know what I'm saying, even if we ignore it, and you know, man, you done talked a whole lot about the whole social media rap mentality, you know what I'm saying, that is changing our reality right before our eyes. But the thing about this, until we start taking a stand, we will deter that dope boy from becoming a dope boy. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So like it will better our neighborhoods from ourselves. So like it will become cool to do positive stuff. Right now, it's not cool to do positive stuff because right now it's cool for our younger generation to make rap videos, uh, talking about crazy stuff. It's younger for our younger women to make videos about twerking. But now we have to give them that positive outlet. So now I'm not saying just go in the neighborhood and just start shooting up the drug dealers, you know what I'm saying, with no solutions. We give them solutions to be positive. We let them know that, hey, you know what? It's cool to be a nerd. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to be a nerd, even though social media tell you that a nerd is weak, he lame, he can't, you know what I'm saying? He won't benefit you. We got to start teaching them that it's okay to be smart. You know what I'm saying? And if we do that, we design that. So I understand that the kids carry it out, but it's by our design. It's us the one that made this environment for them to come up in. We made it. We established this. So now, if we establish this, it's on us to fix it. Because now we're establishing this environment for these kids. So guess what they're doing? They just coming up and they falling in line. We allow our kids, we allow all these social media fights to happen. And guess what? We look at it, we hit the like button, and we move on. We do that. We allow that. It's normal now. Now, this normal that we call is getting more and more destructive by the day. You know what I'm saying? When me and you was coming up, if you was a crackhead, it was negative. Now, if you're a crackhead, you cool. You're not cool now if you don't smoke lean. I said smoke lean. Good God. If you don't smoke weed, if you don't drink lean, if you don't beat women, you're not considered cool. You're not considered cool if you have one woman. You consider to be a lame. We created this narrative. They just live in it. So now I said that, you know what? Even though that we got to fix them too, but at the same time, we got to fix ourselves because we developed this reality for them. That's where they get it from. It just ain't pop up. You know what I'm saying? And I was in it too. I was the biggest Gucci man. Gucci, yeah. And I was doing all that kind of stuff like that. So I created the environment. So now I say it's up to us to recreate this environment. And now they have a different outlook on life. They say, you know what? If I'm 16 and I get with Aces and LoGic to actually start doing the business or come on their YouTube channels to start talking about what I can fix in my neighborhood, that's positive. That should get you the girls. But a drug dealer, we know that it's our community mentality that a drug dealers in our neighborhood always had the baddest females. The kids that was in school, it was the drug dealers and the athletes had the baddest females. But now in these young female minds, they was thinking that, you know what, this drug dealer was going to be faithful to them. They was thinking that this football player was going to be faithful to them. But now they're ignoring the small percentage of guys that was actually doing the right thing, that was studying, that was being positive. They considered them to be lames. It's the reality we gave them. They living upon that now.
Well, check this out, LoGic. One thing that Shots Five put in my comment, he was saying why in the suburbs they don't have liquor stores, bail bondsmen on every corner, but why in our neighborhoods they do. And that goes to say, in order for them to be able to come in the neighborhoods, they have to get that authorized. They just can't come and say, well, I want to build this or I want to build this liquor store, or take over this store to turn it into a liquor store. They got to get all kind of permissions to do that. But why is it that it's so easy for them to set up shop in our neighborhoods than us going to their neighborhood saying we want to set up a liquor shop in your suburb?
Yeah, the reason is that they have communities and we have neighborhoods. They own the land and we don't. So by us not owning the land, we really have no say so. And that's what happened. That's what you look at all our gas stations. You know what I'm saying? What happens? Our gas stations are owned by who? Especially in Baltimore. They all guys from the Middle East. And Baltimore is bad. In Atlanta, the same thing. They're the ones that's coming in there doing that because guess what? Is it their fault? Is it their fault? It's not. I can't blame them. I come in there and set up a liquor store too because I know it's going to make revenue. I set up a bail bondsman too because I know that it's going to make revenue. But what can we do to fix that? Right now, in any street in Atlanta or Baltimore or any city, we can shut down all the bail bondsmen if we wanted to. We can shut down all the corner stores if we wanted to. Why we don't is because we're not unified. I agree with shot fire. I know the dynamics that we living in, but guess what? We're living in it because we allow ourselves to live in there. We don't have to go to that corner store. We choose to go to that corner store. Hell, we don't have to go to that Bell's Bondsman. We choose to go to that Bell's Bondsman. So now we let him exist. And if you want to shut down every Bell's Bondsman in the neighborhood, guess what? Stop all the negative activity. If you don't like the Bell's Bondsman there, you can shut them down by stopping what you're doing. That's my perspective.
I understand. I can't say I agree wholeheartedly. I understand though, and I would love to shut down certain things that I feel like is implementing wrongdoing in our neighborhoods or implementing negativity in our neighborhoods. But like I said, and it goes back to say, we're not the ones that are in control. Once we gain control of our neighborhoods and situations, then we can move forward. But we're not in control at this point. We're not. I see it every day. We're being controlled, but we're not in control. And that right there is the whole picture that needs to be painted. How do we gain control in a situation where we're not in control? And
By
if
taking
if
by taking
if
self.
right, and if we do gain control, how do we keep control? See, that's the main thing. We get control, but how do we keep control? You ain't gonna be able to hold on to control in the neighborhoods when people start, you know, having their own mindset, wanting to do their own things. See, if we're going to stay on course, we need to stay on course with the same mindset. No matter how long it takes to get to where we're trying to go. People get tired and weary and deviate off of the mission or off of the goal that we have, and it's reality.
See, the thing about this is that when I look at it, and then somebody that night, hey, thank you, Soup Bone, for that comment. She said, Ace, if you want to get more views, get Logic off your show.
Hey, who said that?
Somebody named Soup Bone. I don't know how can you how can you even respect a person named Soup Bone? But but it come down to this. This is what I say is that I understand the dynamics of exactly what you're saying, but I still understand that you know what? It starts with self. You know what I'm saying? It starts with self. I know they put drugs in our community. I know they put guns in our community. But guess what we do? We sell them and we shoot them. So now that's accountability. That's 101. If you said that this is the problem, you know what I'm saying? We was talking earlier about the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? So right now, guns and drugs and prostitution is our toilet next to our stove. Is we going to continue to ignore it and just deal with the smell while we cooking? Or we going to take it and get rid of it? That's up to us. So now it would not, and we said a lot, it does not benefit the government to fix us. So now why would we wait on them to fix us? The only solution is to fix ourselves. I don't see no other solution. The government is not going to get us no reparations, and they're not going to fix our neighborhoods. So now if we allow that mentality that, you know what, we're going to continue to wait on them, you might as well say we helpless. That's it. We might as well just roll over and die because they're not going to help us because it's benefiting them. So many aspects, it's benefiting them. And then now I can't, myself, you know what I'm saying? I can't even deal with it. So, but I mean, that's me. I'm looking at what I can fix at my level. I can't go to the government and force them to put police in our neighborhood 24 hours a day. Because if they really wanted to fix that problem, guess what they'll do? They have foot patrols marching up and down these neighborhoods, 24 hours a day if they want to fix it. But I know they don't want to fix it because they don't fix it. So now, is it realistic for me to know that they have the power to fix it and not fixing it? I got to take it upon myself. And I promise you this, wherever you live at, Soup Bone, I will be coming to your neighborhood. And if you one of these fools that's doing that shit, I promise you I will bust you in your ass. And I won't go to jail, Soup Bone. All right. I ain't gonna let Soup Bone distract me no more.
I think that I now I'm not disagreeing with your logic. There's some things I did disagree, and there's some things I agree. But if we're ever going to take back the neighborhoods, because we at some point did have flourishing neighborhoods, did have prosperities, but what happens when the depression came, when people didn't have enough or had lack of, then that's when the neighborhoods started to get run down. When people came back from the war, couldn't get jobs, didn't know what to do, that was a flood of individuals that came, and the neighborhood value went down. The increase in how we maneuvered as people, all of that went down. Until we can get us thriving again as a nation, as a people, we'll get better. We'll get better. What? Why hate? Because they have lack of. There's no reason for somebody to hate if they got something, or they got something going for themselves. The reason why people hate is because they don't have or have the ability. So if we had more and had the ability to do certain things, that'll stop the individual from trying to stop other people from moving forward. We need
And
to
see, I
build on
still
that.
I still say we have the ability. It's just that it's what we accept. We accept certain things. You know what I'm saying? We accept, you know what I'm saying, and we want to live a lifestyle that's not beneficial to us. You know what I'm saying? We'll know every blueprint that's around us that's proven to be successful. That's it. I mean, and it come down to it, it's like this, man. I just left Korea. And I was over there for 2 years before, 2.5 years before, and I just went over there for 2 weeks. And now what I see is a positive blueprint that we can take and utilize. But you know what they blueprint start with? A blueprint start with accountability. You know what Koreans do if drugs come in their community?
What they do?
Dude, they destroy it. They destroy it. Ain't no guns. You can't have guns. But see, the U.S. government know that, guess what? I want guns to be in these neighborhoods. But we know that if we look at a blueprint that's positive, it's nothing positive about having these guns in our neighborhood. So let's take it out. Or let's control it as far as protection. See, we don't use guns for protection. We use guns for influence. And that's different. They have their forces where they use their guns for protection. But see, in our communities, in our neighborhoods, and it's not just black neighborhoods, everybody uses it for influence. But we got to redesign ourselves. We got to reestablish our blueprint and use gun for protection and not influence. So now nobody's scared. Nobody's running around. But guess what? If need be, we got the means to protect ourselves. And we got means to clean up our areas. You know what I'm saying? We can fix our streets. We can raise our property value. You know what I'm saying? It's just, think about this. It's like you stand in a house and in Atlanta, and it's an influx of drugs and prostitution. You allow it. So you're allowing your property value to drop. So you're allowing these guys to take money out of your pocket. And I think that's crazy. I think that's crazy.
It's crazy. It's definitely crazy. I can't say it ain't. once we get on the same page, once we continue to move forward with the positive things that we want to do, we'll be all right. But as the picture is painted, we got a whole lot of work to do. Working on from the inside out. It starts with us inside, and then whatever we're doing on the inside, we'll be able to start working on the outside. I can't tell nobody how to run their household. I can only do mine in hopes that whatever I do, it's going to be effective in the way I'm rearing my kids. I'm raising my kids to be effective on the outside, out there on the streets. I'm raising them to be effective. I'm raising them to be examples, and I'm raising them to be strong men and strong woman. You know, that's how I'm doing it. Now, my efforts hopefully will pay off one day. Hopefully, I'll be able to see the fruits of my labor, and hopefully, I'll be able to see my family build their families. My sons and my daughter continue to build their families. That's how it starts. Now, outside of that, trying to do something for the neighborhood and help other people, that's the plus side of everything. You see, I don't have to do that, but it's the plus side of it. It's because I want to do it and feel that I'm effective in doing it. But I don't have to, and don't nobody have to. If we want to be honest, nobody really has to care about the community if they don't want to. Nobody has to care about their brothers or sisters if they don't want to. But the mere fact that they say they do and they're trying, that's an added plus to everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yep.
it's a
I'm
it's,
with you.
it's a plus that me and you are on YouTube now talking about these topics so we can make an effective change in the mindset of some of the people that may listen or may see. That's a plus. We don't have to, but it just shows we care enough to do it on a Saturday night, late. It's probably early for you, but late for me. You see what I'm saying? It's a plus that we're doing this, but don't have to. But everybody else that might not be on the same page as us, you see what I'm saying? Everybody else that might not think like we think, how do we get them aboard to start saying, you know what? I see what you brothers are trying to do, and we want to support and help that effort.
I mean, you're right. I think, but it comes down to this. It comes down to actually what you said initially, looking at that blueprint and seeing the problems and fixing it and not ignoring it. You know what I'm saying? And fixing it. So now, I mean, it comes down to it. It's like we got to look at what's wrong with our blueprints currently because we control our blueprints for our neighborhoods. And even though the effects of the blueprints that's negative is given to us, but we can take them negative effects out. So now, if we allow that to happen, how can we get mad? You see what I'm saying? Like, how can we get mad that, you know what I'm saying, a kid gets shot in the street by a drug dealer when we allow that drug to exist in our neighborhood? Can we really get mad? I mean, when you see these moms on TV, and I feel their pain, I definitely do. But if you see the moms on TV after their kids just got shot, and they sit here and they crying, and you feel for them.
Right.
Everybody feel for them. But she ignored it up into the point where it affected her household. She ignored it. She walked right past it. She didn't say nothing. Until it affected her neighborhood, then she want to take a stand. And guess what she said? We got to get out. We got to clean up our communities. But didn't you know that 2 months ago? I'm sure you knew that 3 months ago because that wasn't the first kid that got killed in Crossfire. It just wasn't yours. So now you ignored it until it came knocking on your door. So now I feel compassion for that woman because she just lost a child. I feel compassion for that man because they lost a child. But did they feel compassion when I lost my child? They didn't, because they didn't speak up, they didn't take a stand. So now it's running into that. It's that the only way we can make change is to fix ourselves. That's it. We gotta fix ourselves. And then no matter what nobody say, you know what I'm saying, you have crazy people that actually wanted me to say it nicely and say, well, you know what? We need to come together and do these educational programs in our community. But we do an educational program for 1 hour. And guess what? They get re-educated in the streets. So the only way we can truly educate them is to take back our neighborhoods. So now guess what? The education they get from the environment is positive. They 24 hours a day lifestyle is positive. That's why I can't deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I cannot deal with it. And you got different individuals running around here because it's nothing I said that was crazy. It's nothing I said that was outlandish. You know what I'm saying? Actually, me and you agree on probably about 90% of everything we said. But I just say that this. I said, you know what? We need to start holding these people accountable, holding ourselves accountable. And then if it takes snitching and if it takes killing the drug dealers, then guess what? It will be to our benefit. It will be to our benefit.
These people crazy. I I agree. We agreed on 90% of the stuff, and also with adding with that, after we make a milestone, watch how people come in and try to pay the 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 the, the key proprietors in this situation or in our situation. Why do you think Freddie Gray mother and them got paid off? Why do you think half of the people that was tragically gunned down by the by police officers in our cities and things like that, they got paid off 6 million dollars and all of these different amounts and this, that, and the third. You know, it's because they're trying to quiet them up. So once we make a movement, could we be reassured that these individuals are not going to be paid off to shut up? See, we got to see where the loyalty lies once we do get moving. Who's going to be loyal to what we're doing? You know, and is that a high expectation to have on individuals to be loyal with the movement? Because, okay, say we do clean our neighborhoods up. Who's going to continue, peace, Doug, who's going to continue to be loyal to what we're doing?
If we clean up our neighborhoods,
Yeah, say we do clean them up. Who's going to continue to be loyal to our neighborhoods? Who's going to continue to keep that going? When
we are.
there's so much disloyalty, and if we can't, and look, like, and I hate to bring it up, but it was even hard to get some of us on the same page on this YouTube thing. So how is it we're dealing with people in our neighborhoods? How is it going to be that we're going to keep it going when people got so many different ideas and want to do their own thing? That's what I'm saying. Once we make the effective move, how do we keep it going?
It's like this. It's just like if I show you a way to make $1 million, right? You're gonna utilize that and you're gonna pass it on, correct?
Correct.
So if I show you something that worked, it will be utilized to its fullest because it works. So now the thing about this is that we won't have to be in a position where we're actually, you know what I'm saying, it's something positive. It works. You know what I'm saying? It will be passed on automatically because it works. Right now, we don't have a lot of tools that actually work in our community. So now it's nothing to pass on. That's why We're in a predicament now. We don't pass on nothing. You know what I'm saying? The stuff we pass on to the next generation is mostly traditions. And a lot of times it's traditions that don't work. It's stuff that we establish that don't work. That we focus so much on holidays, wasting our resources on that, that we got to realize that the holidays don't benefit us. After we go to sleep and wake up, the holiday's over. You know what I'm saying? So now how do it benefit us? It benefits everybody but us, but we don't realize that yet. So now that's what it's going to come down to, is that when we have that positive blueprint and people see it work, people see your neighborhood change for the best, it will become contagious. And now that's progression. So now you're right. We got other obstacles that we got to deal with once we get to that point. But guess what? It's moving forward instead of being stagnated.
All right, now I agree with that, and I'm glad you brought that point up. Um, like you said, and I don't want to be redundant or keep repeating what was said. I think now we're at a place where moving forward is essential and is a must. We can't no longer just sit back and allow year after year, month after month, the same continuous thing that we've been doing. Now it's time to move forward and do what we got to do for our people as a whole, for all of the people that are going to use our race as an example, because there got to be somebody that is used for an example for positive or negative. So why not we being used for positive rather than negative? We are the
Mhm.
ones being depicted as always negative in all we do. You see what I'm saying? We are the ones that are that the light in a negative manner is being depicted. So why not now utilize what we're doing and make sure that we're utilized in a positive way? We have the power to put people in their place. We have the power to tell people, no, we don't want to be looked at in a negative light anymore. How about put some positive stuff that we do? Not just on Martin Luther King publicizing him or Malcolm X Day. How about some of the individuals that are putting work in our communities right now? How about putting them on Front Street and publicizing what we're doing actually in the communities rather than only one individual that's passed and gone?
Yeah, but see, we asking them for the 40 acres and a mule. And then that's that mentality that we asking for something that we know we're not going to get. You know what I'm saying? We know we're not going to get that. They're not going to put a positive spin on nothing that happened in the black community. We can have a whole neighborhood with all straight A students and it will get ignored. We know this. So now for us to have that mentality that, hey, look, you know what? You owe us this. You know what? And I came to the sense that, you know what? I don't want shit from the government. Nothing. So now by me having that mentality, I'm making things happen myself. Because you got, just like you said, that they'll use a lot of all these old traditional things. They'll use the Martin Luther Kings. They'll barely use Malcolm X. They won't say Marcus Garvey. They'll use barely Harriet Tubman. They'll use all these different individuals of the past. But it's individuals out here putting work in today. And you know what? They not on CNN. They not on Fox. We know that. But should we say we give a fuck? Why do we need to be on there? I think I'm doing a positive influence. And I guess what? When I wake up every day, I don't want to be on Fox News. I don't want to actually be in there saying, hey, this is what I'm doing, because we know that that's not what they want. That's not what the system want. The system don't want for us to succeed. And if you think about this, if you as the race, if they winning, they don't want to see you winning. The small percentage of people that's running things do not want to see the majority win. We know this. So now if we keep asking, hey, look, you know what? Give me reparations. Give me my 40 acres and a mule, or give me that mentality, then we selling ourselves short.
That's right. All right, we don't want to sell ourselves short. We definitely don't want to sell ourselves short. Um, I say this with all of the efforts that have been done thus far, whether they're working or not, we have to have an identity of our own. We have to. We. This is a must that we make our presence known. Not asking, begging, but making our presence known. And how, like we did before we made our presence known, we need to do it now. This is the time. Everybody else make who they are, make their presence known. They do. These people make their presence known. Other races make their presence known, make their presence felt in our neighborhoods. We need to make our presence known. Not asking for anything. I'm not asking for anything from anyone. But you're going to know I'm here. I can say that. You're going to know I'm here because I'll make too much noise not to be.
Hmm.
I will kick up too much. I will do things so you will know I'm here. And I think that's where we need to be, and that's the position we need to come from. Making our presence known, whether it's to the government, to our neighborhoods, to the news anchor casters, whoever, we still need to make our presence known that we are here and we ain't going nowhere. And we need to make our people understand that everything we do comes back to haunt us. And if we can only start off positive, with hopes remain positive.
Yep, I agree, and I mean, we're 100. I mean, we're 100% in agreement with that. I'm just probably a little bit overboard in actually enforcing the solutions. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I when it come down to it, I don't feel bad for shooting a drug dealer in the ass because guess what? He don't feel bad about shooting another person. He don't feel bad about selling drugs. He don't feel bad about abusing our women. So why should I care how he feel? And if you think about this, if more men thought like me in these neighborhoods, you think the drug dealers have a stronghold? If every time a drug dealer approach a block, somebody get out there and start busting, and then when the cops came, the drugs laying on the ground and said this guy was out here trying to sell drugs in my neighborhood. Do we got people that's willing to take that chance? Because I promise you this: once I get out, I will be bussing. You're not gonna come on my front door and sell drugs. Because guess what? If you're on my front door selling drugs, then that means it's an opportunity for my child to be influenced by that. I don't want my babies to be influenced by that. That will not be a part of my baby's reality. So guess what? Old daddy will take everything in his own hands, and then he will make sure that he destroy it. And then if I gotta do it, then so be it. If I go to jail, then so be it. But guess what? You will see me on the news then. Oh my God. Oh man. You want to give
Yeah,
a quick shout out to the chat?
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I want to say I can't shout out nobody that has any hatred. I gotta shout out people who are positive.
Oh,
So
let me get what. Let me get what. Hey, shout out to you, Soup Bone. Much love, brother, sister.
I shout out Doug. I shout out Suge. I shout out Queen C. I shout out Divine with Soweth. Appreciate that, sister, man. I shout out Shots Fired. As always, holding my chat down. Um, and I shout out, let me see. I shout out all to Aces in the Hole. I appreciate everybody that continue to build in Aces in the Hole and all of what they're doing. I appreciate you. And, you know, I might be small in numbers, but the quality is what I look at. and I appreciate the qualities of the subscribers that I have that are active in Aces in the Hole. Now you come in to troll, hey look, I don't have time for no trolling. But anybody that builds on a positive note, I appreciate you.
That's what's up, man. I just want to give a shout out to Miss Bunny, Root Word, Urban Underdog, D Mark, Deshaun. What's going on? Hey, y'all, make sure that y'all take a minute, man. Go subscribe to Ace Corner Talk. We're gonna drop the link in there. Go subscribe to the brother, man. We're gonna be doing at least once a week, you know what I'm saying, Aces versus LoGic. And then, you know what I'm saying, is you know what I'm saying, we from different points of views, but a lot of times we can build a lot of leadway and a lot of headway though. You know what I'm saying? Another shout out to Root Words. Also shout out to Sister Sassy Queen Sassy in the building. What's going on, Miss Sassy? Denmark in the building. Tom Phillips, Nicholas Cabal, Adam in the building. What's going on, Adam? You know what I'm saying? You out of that body bag? Also give a shout out to For Life. Big shout out to For Life. Big shout out to Karen McLean. Um Hey, Billy Hicks Jr., shout out to you too, though. Even though you in here trolling deep, also shout out to Soup Bone. That's my man. Shout out to Soup Bone. I ain't gonna say that negative about you, brother. Ain't nothing but love for you, brother, at all. You know what I'm saying? Who else I got in the building? Let's see. I gotta go way back up. I don't even think gonna allow me to do that. Oh, my main man, Deshaun. Big shout out to Deshaun. Deshaun been with me with day one, man. Big shout out to you, brother.
He just
You know what I'm
subscribed
saying?
to me. Tell him I appreciate the love. Appreciate the love, Deshaun. He just subscribed to me too. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
And who we got else in the building? All right. If I mention, man, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I had to go too far up though. But at the end of the day, man, this is it's all love, man. And the thing about this, in order to build a blueprint to do something, you got to actually analyze what you got. So now you got people that's calling me a coon, but if you look at it, all I'm doing is analyzing what we have. And then if you don't like it, I'm just saying, like I said before, that stove is too close to the toilet. That's what I'm saying. So you might not like the way I said, but if you really look deep, you realize it's the truth. It is the truth.
Right.
We have problems among ourselves, and then now we're the only ones that can fix it. We're the only ones that can fix our problems. And then now, if you one of the ones that say, you know what, as soon as we build some, the white man gonna take it away. But guess what? We haven't even got to that point yet.
Right.
Do we continue to sit here and say, you know what, I won't build nothing because the white man gonna take it away? Or we gonna say, you know what, let's build something and then let's wait on them to take it away. But now since you understand that he gonna take it away, now let's prepare. I see we can't even get along on a YouTube channel. So how can we even get along in real life? If I was around Soup Bone, he'd probably be the drug dealer that I shoot. And that's sad. Because it's nothing I said was crazy. It's nothing I would say outlandish. Because if I kill that one drug dealer, I just saved other lives. But we won't look at it like that. I'm going to say it again. If I killed that drug dealer, how many more lives I saved? Not with the lives that he would have killed people, but what about the lives that he destroyed with his drugs? Yes, Super Bowl, oh my God. I understand, brother. I understand. And see, there you go, Doug. There they go. The question, how does the guns get in our neighborhood? We hear that shit all the time. Let me put that chat up here. How does the guns get in our neighborhood? We know how the guns get in our neighborhood. But do we consider to be the fools and consider to use them? Isn't we dumb to continue to use guns that we know destroying our neighborhoods? Isn't we dumb to consider still implement all the systems that destroy us? Doesn't that make us dumb? But I guess I'm dumb. I guess I'm the dumb one. And then now we'll look at it and we'll say to ourselves this, That's why we still in the same predicament that we've been in for hundreds of years, because we sit here and we try to blame somebody else why we don't get our 40 acres and a mule. When we can just say, you know what, I don't need the 40 acres and a mule. Let me start fixing and establishing myself. That's crazy. There's no love lost for anybody. Wow, LoGic. Never touched any drugs. Hell, I never smoked in my life, unlike you. But all right, thank you, brother. I'm gonna stop looking at that chat room, man. But at the end of the day, man, um, if you're watching this, man, take 5 seconds and go ahead and pound that like button. Take 10 seconds and go ahead and subscribe to my man Ace Corner Talk. Uh, we bringing information and we pushing in a powerful light. So now, if you take offense to it, then you're dealing with your emotions. If you actually understand it, then you're realizing it from facts. It's nothing I said that don't exist. I didn't make it up. If you look at my background and you see these chickens and this bull back here, that's you, Subone. That's you. Because right now, you encapsulated within a fence and you don't know how to think for yourself. You looking for somebody to feed you, just like the cows and the chicken. You looking for somebody to give you a handout, just like the cows and the chickens. So now, if you was to throw these cows and chickens back into the wild, they would not know how to live or exist by themselves. I'm sorry, people. You know what I'm saying? So I'll bow down. Make sure y'all go ahead and pound that like button. Subscribe to Ace. We love you. I'm gonna go ahead and let my man Ace get the last word before we play this whole tapping.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I think our first step is the melanated youth trying to do something to show our youth that they have the support and backing from those who are their elders, and that would reassure the confidence back into our youth, because they have lost a lot of confidence in people who should be rearing and teaching them. They're now selling drugs to them, so they don't have the respect for those who are over them, because they now have put them on the equal playing field as them because of the things they're doing with them. So much respect. If you haven't supported the melanated youth, please send your allow your sons and daughters who are of age to send their drawings, their writings, and all of the sort, to help move this forward so that they can win their piece of the prize. We're trying to help strengthen our youth and to show them we have their back. And I think if we continue to do that, it'll build a much stronger community when the younger folks have that reassurance that we're going to be there to support them in what they endeavor to do. So this is Ace from Ace Corner Talk. Much love to Aces in the Hole over giving me that work in that chat room. Thank you to everybody in LoGic's chat, Food, Clothing, Shelton. Thank you for the shout outs. Thank you for the reinforcements of my channel. Thank you for just keeping me uplifted. Your boy is here. I'm alive. I was in the motorcycle accident. I hit a deer doing 90 plus miles an hour, and I'm here to tell a story. So there must be a good reason I'm on this earth. I thank God to be alive. And thank you for all the support. Much love to everybody, man. Peace to all of you guys. Love you.
All right, people. Before we leave, you know we're gonna play the famous song, "Hotepin," and I just saw somebody. Welcome back, Uncle Suge. Let's crank it.
These guys, man. Oh, tapping, misrepresenting the lessons. Yeah, you screaming black power, but where the hell is the progression? Oh, tapping, misrepresenting the lessons. Yeah, you screaming black power, but where the hell is the progression? Oh, tapping.
And y'all falling for this?
Come on, man. More stand up. Oh, tapping, no tapping, but like your braid, your face. You keep screaming black power, but ain't busting the grace. Silly said he be yelling, he do a whole lot of cussing. He be talking all loud, but ain't saying nothing. Tell you bang on the beat, but he don't bang in the streets. Yeah, he bang on the mic and charge you for a seat. Let's beat what they say, and then peep how they roll. Shaka put on his makeup and said he powder his nose. Said you gotta be kidding me, talking about my fans. Shaka rocking that Remy and said he a cokehead. I call him Remy and Coke. I mean, I'm boys of a joke. I wish they would step to me and I be going for broke. Oh yeah, I talk with aggression, prefer to stick to the lessons. They be talking about morals like they be banning weapons. I know they only hotepping. Yeah, they fake with the lessons. They be talking hard, but where the hell is the progression? Hotepping, misrepresenting the lessons. Yeah, they screaming black power, but where the hell is the progression? Hotepping, oh yeah, they fake with the lessons. Yeah, they screaming black power, but where the hell is the progression? Hotepping, misrepresenting the lessons. Yeah, they screaming black power, but where the hell is the progression? Hotepping. Yeah, they screaming black power, but where the hell is the progression? Side netter, you know better than to test them more. I think I told you before, and look what happened to your boy. And now you got this Maybelline queen up on my screen. He grew up.
Okay, people, man. Hey, we out of here, man. Much love to Ace, my main man, Ace Corner Talk, his wife, Queen C. We in the building, man. We're gonna continue to do this, drop that information, whether you people like it or not. You're gonna get it. Thank y'all for coming to support. Make sure y'all pound that like button on both channels. It's your boy LoGic and my main man Ace. We out of here, family.
All right, no doubt. Peace.
Oh man, them sorry, bruh. Them jokers so motherfucking sorry.
You talking about all of them trolls?
Yeah, that man.
Man,
I mean, they doing it, man. I'm telling you, you gotta be like that. You got
how do they?
sugar over there. You got